Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and yes, we are live here on New Year's Eve here. We're going to be going over our game preview against the Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium. How are you guys doing today? I see a few of you already in here. Sandy B, hello. Happy New Year's to you as well. I wanted to do this. Obviously, we do this every Friday. We did this on Christmas Eve. We're going to have a little New Year's Eve. We're going to do our game review, then have a little bit of a New Year's Eve celebration, of course, being responsible about it. But that is what it is here. We are going to have our celebrations here as well. And we're going to talk mainly about my thumbnail here, Taming the Mustang, and what I think we need to do to win this game. Of course, that's going to be part of it, but there's so much more. Hi, My Life DIY. Good to see you here as well. So let's get right into the activities right here, and then we'll go to the question and answer segment as we normally do. Now, if you're new to this, either live or watching this on replay, I go over what I call my rundown, and these are the topics I'm going to talk about during this live stream. Of course, we usually have a poll of the week, and then we talk about the game review, and then we'll have a question and answer segment. So if you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat right now. We'll get to those after the game review. If you want to speak anything else about my take on this game and the keys to the game, you can put that in there as well. So let's get right to the poll of the week, or the poll I put out here. Now, we are currently 8-7. And I said my last game review against the Broncos that we're setting kind of a precedence here of slowing down and minimizing the run game, which is very favorable, especially with the matchup we have this week against the Indianapolis Colts. We'll get into that in a minute. And I asked you, how do you think we're going to finish? We have 2 more games to go. We're 8-7. Either we're going to win both games, go 10-7, split them, go 9-8, or lose both and go 8-9. And the majority of you said we're going to split. And that's kind of how I feel right now. I think we could win both games. I think it's going to be very difficult to win both games, especially this next one. We're going to have to play exemplary football. Ooh, I'm sounding like Joe Biden now. We have to play exemplary football to win this game, to be honest with you. I'm going to show you here in a minute, but a little bit of encouragement here. We had about 80% at least winning 1 game, if not 2 games. So a lot of optimism, especially with the 2-game winning streak we've had. Hey, Earthaughter, how you doing? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So let's get right on to the game review itself. And of course, we always start on the defensive side for the Raiders. So as far as our matchups, we normally start with the injury reports, and that's what I have right here, and they're very slight. It's good news for the Raiders. We'll get to the protocol here in a second. But as far as the standard injuries go, Hankins was out last week. He is questionable now with that back, and I'm hoping he will play. However, I didn't put him in my lineup here, but I will do that in the game review if he does play on Sunday. Now, as far as the Colts go, the only one that's going to be out is Andrew Sadejo. He had a concussion. He's under concussion protocol last week. He will not be playing this week against the Raiders. Now, a little bit different as far as the protocol goes. A lot of news here. As far as the Colts go, Carson Wentz is still on protocol. There might be a chance he'll play. They're not saying it. Same thing with Braden Smith, their offensive tackle, their right tackle. I'm not so sure. I haven't heard anything definitively one way or the other. I put Erlinger at quarterback here in my lineup, but it could very well be Carson Wentz. And honestly, for the keys to the game that I'm going to present, it's not really going to matter, in my opinion, which quarterback they have, to be honest. Now, as far as the Raiders go, the COVID list is staggering. Darren Waller was put on it, I believe, on Thursday, so he's probably not going to play, even if he could with that knee. Jordan Simmons, our backup tackle, is on there. And the same people that are still on there that I talked about in my game review: Phylon, Nassib, Littleton, Awursor, Perryman, Casey Hayward, Will Compton, and Kendall Vickers, it was added too. So there's no word on whether or not these guys are going to play. I'm hoping they're going to play, especially for Perryman. I have him in the lineup here. We're definitely going to need him, obviously. And if if you're not even a Raider fan, if you're a football fan in general, the first key to the game, especially on the defensive side, should be blatantly obvious. And that is stopping this guy here, Jonathan Taylor. He is the league leading rusher. He has over 1,600 rushing yards. He's averaging 5.5 yards per carry, 17 total touchdowns. And in my study for this week in preparation for the game, I like to kind of regress and kind of look back on not only ourselves, but our opponents. And I looked at 2 games in particular. Now, the first game obviously would be last year we played this team in Vegas. They had Jonathan Taylor. They had Phillip Rivers as their quarterback, and they demolished us 44-27 in that game, week 14. They had over 200 yards rushing. Taylor himself had 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, and there were 8 of 11 on third down conversions. It was an absolute nightmare on the defensive side. And if you remember, this was the straw that broke the camel's back when Paul Gunther, our defensive coordinator, was fired right after that game. So we need to stop him. And my goal here, again, keeping him under the century mark in less than 2 touchdowns. I think if we can do that, that's a win. This guy he's only like 5'10", 220, but he runs like he's 230, 240, and he's pretty quick once he gets out in the open space. Deceptive. Doesn't catch the ball that much. That's not really his game. He can do it, but they really don't employ him. They have a few other guys who do that mainly. So mostly it's just stopping the running game with this guy. And I think we need to overcompensate just like we did against the Browns and against the Denver Broncos. We need to flood the gates. We need to flood these gaps and let the corners play one-on-one, keep Merrick over the top, and everybody else concentrate on stopping Jonathan Taylor. Hi, Dark Wolf's Den Show. Good to see you here. I just saw you pop in. Thank you for coming on in. We're just doing the game review, the Raider game on Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts. You are more than welcome to stay and ask any questions if you like. We'll have a little bit of a celebration at the end with our Q&A session once we get through the game review here. So that said, and I said we should basically keep 8 guys dedicated to stopping the run. Now, my other key to the game, I said I'm focusing on 2 games that I studied for this particular game. One, obviously, was our matchup last year against them. The other one is I wanted to see, because I wanted to see how teams beat the Colts, because they're 9-6. They are beatable. Now, I looked and I saw Tampa. They lost. They got destroyed by Tampa. They lost both times to the Tennessee Titans. But the one game I really wanted to focus on was their Week 3 matchup at Tennessee, because Tennessee generated no turnovers. I have to be honest here. I don't have faith in this team generating any turnovers on the defensive side of the ball. So I wanted to look at that. They actually gave up the ball 3 times on the offensive side, and they still won 25-16. Now, they did that because they only gave up 265 total yards, where 3 of 12 on third down conversions the Colts were, and they only allowed 1 touchdown and 3 trips to the red zone. That's what I saw. So I put it on the defensive line. It's actually going to be everybody, but mainly we need more pressure on the quarterback. Even if Wentz plays, I know a lot of people are saying he's had a couple of good games, but the more you pressure this guy, the wilder he gets, and the more he hasn't been throwing a lot of turnovers, but his completion percentage is way low. It was way low in that Tennessee game. So I want at least 10 quarterback hits. I want a 40% third down conversion rate. I only want to allow 1 red zone touchdown from this defense. I think if we can do these 2 things, we have an outstanding shot of beating the Colts in Indianapolis. Now, if you are enjoying this, as usual, give it a thumbs up. Absolutely free. Just click the little button. And when you subscribe, hit the bell notification to send it to all. That way you will be notified of all of our live streams, especially if you're listening to this on a replay and didn't get the notification. And as usual, we normally go at halftime for about 15 minutes to analyze the first half of the game. We're going to be doing that again this week. This Sunday, it's a 10 o'clock start here on the West Coast, so expect about 11:30 Pacific time we'll be on. We'll go over the keys to the game and the first half performance. And I encourage you all to come out and join us so that we have a lot of fun with it. Now let's get to the offensive side of the ball. Now, as far as the offensive side of the ball, and I've said this before, I'm going to keep this the rest of the season. My first key to the game, obviously, is number 4. And it's not just number 4. It's Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator, because the game planning is everything. They did a pretty good job last week, even the last 2 weeks. Now, as far as this Colts defense goes, they're not terrible, but they're not great either. If you look at the stats here, this is just for yardage. They're an average defense, and that's what it's played out in a lot of ways. Now, there is some good news and bad news with the Colts here. Now, the good news is this team does not get to the quarterback that much. They don't have a whole lot of sacks. They have less sacks than we do, and they don't blitz that often. So that's good as far as a blitz percentage, especially with this line that's honestly kind of makeshift, especially on the right side. Also, they're below average, not only in sacks, but pressures, hurries, red zone touchdown percentage. Once a team gets into the red zone on them, they're one of the worst. So they're giving up a lot of red zone touchdowns, kind of like us. And they actually have more penalties, number of penalties, and more penalty yardage than our defense does, believe it or not. So that's the good news. Here's the bad news. This team, this is a key stat, they are number 2. They're the second best as far as drives ending in an offensive turnover. And that means when they're going up against an offense, they are the highest percentage to generate a turnover. Like I said, they don't get a lot of sacks, but they do get a lot of turnovers. They get a lot of opportunities. And they're one of the lowest, they're one of the best in a scoring percentage anyway on drives. So that said, with Carr, I want at least 2 red zone touchdowns. And I think once we can get there, and obviously I put this in red, no turnovers. We cannot give up any turnovers to this team. We have to play clean against this team. This is a team that wants to run the ball like crazy and then have the defense be opportunistic and get turnovers. So if we cut that off, they can't lean on Taylor as much. We key in on him, and you make a Wentz or even the rookie Erlinger, if he's going to play, make him beat us, because I'm not optimistic on that. I think our chances are very good with that. Now, my next key to the game, obviously, we started getting the running game going last week, especially with Jacobs, got his 100-yard game. And I'm going to revert back to this week 3 matchup. In this matchup, where they beat this team 25-16, even though the Titans gave up 3 turnovers, Colts didn't turn over the ball once. Derrick Henry had 113 rushing yards. They had 180 total rushing yards. So I'm gonna want us to lean back on Jacobs. He had that 100-yard game, and I'm gonna say I want him to get to the century mark again. But not only that, I want the total rushing game to be 150 and get 2 total touchdowns. So, I'm talking about Richard, Barber, if Trey Regis, I don't care. I want 150 total rushing yards. I want to be able to control this game. I want to get this Colts team tired. I want to have the time of possession. Tennessee had 34 minutes time of possession in that game. They controlled the game, even if they turned the ball over 3 times, which to me is outstanding. If you looked at it, if they hadn't turned those ball over 3 times there, they probably would have had over 40 minutes time of possession. So this is how we beat this team. We can't make those mistakes anymore. We can't be making stupid turnovers. We got to tuck the ball in. We can't throw lob passes that are easily picked off on screen plays, Derek Carr. Like I said, we have to be disciplined with the ball, Josh Jacobs. We can't fumble the ball anymore. This is a very opportunistic team. Plus, we're on the road. If we can get out to a good start, we quiet this crowd down. It's going to be much more difficult for them to win if we can play fundamental football and we key in on Jonathan Taylor. Now, here we are. Hey, Dominique, I see you in there. How you doing? We're at our question and answer segment right now. And, of course, how you guys doing? Like I did with the 100th episode, if you were here for my 100th episode, I brought a little bubbly out. It's New Year's Eve. Got a couple glasses here. So this will be one for me and one for you guys. We'll have a little bit of a celebration here. How you guys doing tonight? You want to have any comments? I will get to them. I saw a little bit of comment activity. I'll get to that in a minute once I open this up. If you want to have anything extra as far as my keys to the game or what you think we should do to win this game, put them right in the comments as well. No, the kitty's not going to get drunk, Sandy B. So. Woo! Did you hear that? If it was too loud, I'm sorry. It sounded pretty loud here. So. Anyway. I don't know how you guys are doing tonight. You guys have any plans on going out tonight? Don't get too crazy. If you do, again, get a designated driver. Of course, you know, the whole thing with rugs and all that. Not just that. I mean, that should be a wake-up call to all of us. Be responsible, you know. Of course, you have to be 21 here in America if you do want to have a little libation. So that's number one. Be within the law and don't do anything stupid, right? Get a designated driver, get an Uber if you can. Celebrate at home, what have you. So 2021, it's been pretty good for me. It's been pretty good for the Raiders. I hope it's been good for you as well. And I wish you all a happy 2022 as well. Cheers. It's not Austie, Sandy B, but it'll do. I'll put yours there. I'll put mine over here. No. Yeah, I think they do one little sip, so I think I'll put this over here for now so they can't get to it. All right, I'm going to look at your comments right now and see what you guys have been putting down here. Let's see. I've got to scroll up a little bit here. Give me 1 second. It's party time, huh, Sandy B? Good to have you here, Jerry. I'll probably see you in a little bit, actually. Let's see. Sandy B says, tough. Gonna be tough. Colts are second place in the AFC South, but beatable. 9-6 isn't great. Yeah, they're a solid team. It's interesting because the quarterback play has been kind of okay. Carson's had a couple of decent games lately, but that hasn't always been the case. They've been on Jonathan Taylor's back the whole time. And like I said before, I think he's an absolute viable MVP candidate this year. But Rodgers will probably win it because they're the top seed in the NFC, the Packers. So Dominique's in here. Let me scroll down a little bit more. Let's see. Happy New Year's. Hubby in the background. Earth Daughter says she's staying home with my kitty cats. I'm kind of doing that too. I got to prevent them from getting to the drinky drink. I think they want to smell it. Let me see. Let me see if they're curious. Maybe if they'll just sniff it, they'll go away. Yeah, they don't want any of that. They're just nosy. They're nosy little ginger cats. Okay. Austie. Yeah, this is Corbell. I don't have Austie. Maybe next time. I said that last time. Maybe next time, though. Sandy B says, is that ginger, pumpkin, or bully? I actually have two here, if you can see. Let me turn this off. You can probably see them better if I turn this off. So this is bully, and this is ginger right here. So, and pumpkin, I don't know. She's running around doing something. I don't know where she's at, so. All ginger cats, all loud, all the pain. No. They're being nice right now. They're being quiet. I told them they get a treat if they behave themselves right now during the live stream. So they're being nice. Anyway, you guys have any questions on the game? Have any questions on how the Raiders are doing? Anything that I brought up during the game review? Like I said, I went through other games as well, but the ones I really wanted to key on was our last meetup, what happened. Of course, the personnel was a little different. We had Paul Gunther, idiot, and I think we've improved not only with the coaching, but also the personnel on the defensive side. So I'm expecting more than giving up over 200 yards rushing. And then the other side is I wanted to see who they've lost to and how they've lost those games. Like I said, I could have looked at the Tampa game, but I think they had like 5 turnovers in the game. So I didn't want to see that because the Raiders have a hard time getting turnovers on the defensive side. So I wanted to look at a game. That's why I looked at that Titans game. Titans were -3. They gave up 3 more turnovers than they got. They didn't get any, obviously. So I wanted to see, well, how'd they win? How'd they go about that? Because to me, I'd love to see some turnovers. I haven't seen them yet. So until I see them from this defense, I got to assume we're not going to get any. Maybe some sacks, some good stops. We've been pretty good on third down conversions lately on both sides of the ball. So I think that's doable. So like I said, I think we employ the similar type strategy, and we just key in on the running back and make the quarterback beat us. These below average quarterbacks, it's like the 3rd week in a row we've seen this. So let's see. So Waller is really out. It's likely he hasn't been definitively called out, but I don't think he's going to play. Don't feed the snap champagne. I'm not. I wanted them to sniff it just so that they would not be nosy. And they did, and now they're behaving themselves. Sandy B says, Jacobs makes me nervous. I don't know. I'm not real nervous about Jacobs because he came back in the second half. You know, he made that stupid play, didn't tuck the ball in, it bounced, and I mean, nobody even touched him, and it bounced off his leg, his thigh, when he was running because he didn't tuck the ball away. Just a dumb play, and he came back and redeemed himself, and he ran hard, and the offensive line was blocking really kind of physical and fierce. It was great. I loved it. So, again, we're going to be on the road, so we need to come out with a good start, shut that crowd up. All those inbreds in Indiana. Just kidding for all my Indiana fans. And just keep them quiet. It's a tough place to win. But fortunately this year, Indy's not been very good at home. They've been better on the road, so there's hope. But again, they're only a game back from the Titans, so there is a chance that they could catch them. They were swept, but still, they're going to at least want to secure a wild card spot. So same thing with the Chargers. They're still in it. So these are going to be 2 tough games for us. So no more screw ups. No more stupid mistakes. The penalties were pretty good last week. Like I said, only 3 penalties last week, and one of them was bullshit. I talked about that with that roughing the passer call on Cleve Farrell. That was garbage, absolute garbage. So we had a holding call and a PI, pass interference call. Those were okay. Those were legit. I wasn't going to complain about those. So, but 2 penalties in a game, that's awesome, especially for this team. But the turnovers, we had more turnovers than legitimate penalties in the game. We can't have that. Not against this team. We can't. We do that again, they're going to run the ball. They're going to tire our defense out, and we're going to lose like 24-3, 24-10, something like that. I'm pissed we let Javin White get away. Well, for some reason, he never got back into the lineup. We signed Markel Lee, which was kind of a head scratcher for me. If he's healthy, why aren't we getting him back active? If he's not and somebody wanted to take a chance on him, that's fine. But that didn't make any sense to me either. And I was kind of looking back at some of my old videos in the off season. I'm thinking about doing a prediction video as far as not just other people. I did other people's predictions, but my own as far as who I thought would be well and who I thought wouldn't be, and these rumor mill ones. I was looking back, and I bring this up because a lot of the training camp, I mean, like Javid White, there was some good words talked about him. Tanner Muse, there was good words talked about him. These guys aren't here anymore, you know. Jimmy Morrissey, he was coming along great, you know, and blah, blah, blah. And he's a solid guy. And, you know, basically he was a steal in the 7th round and gone. We basically got nothing for that guy. So, hey, Safwan Ben Malik, Ben Malik, us and the Chargers are pretty neck and neck. Yeah, and they have the tiebreaker on us right now, right, head to head. Dark Wolf Stan's show says, I got to go do show prep. See you guys soon. Okay. Happy New Year. Thanks for coming in. Sick with it says, so you think we're going to win this? your honest opinion, I'm very optimistic. Given how we played the run the last 2 weeks, and I'm straight with you guys. When Carr plays crappy, I'm not a Carr lover, but I'm not a Carr hater either. In the last game, you could say, well, he didn't get a whole lot of yards, but they were playing back on him. Denver was playing back. They were allowing the underneath, so he took the underneath, which made sense. He doesn't have the elite receivers. He doesn't have a Devontae Adams. He doesn't have speedster Henry Ruggs that he can rely on. Let's be honest here. I mean, we have Deshaun Jackson. He's 35. He's got some speed, but he's still getting acquainted with the offense. Zay Jones is okay, but he's not an elite wide receiver. I think overall they made good decisions. They made some good play calling on not only his audibles, but on Olsen's side. And they came out with a vengeance. They knew they screwed up in the first half. They came out and played hard the way they should have and kind of redeemed themselves, including Josh Jacobs. So, yeah, I'm very optimistic in this game. Again, we can't, like I said in the preview, though, no turnovers. We can't, if we give up 3 turnovers, we lose this game. Period. That's just the way it's going to be. Malik says, hey, Sandy, happy New Year's Eve. Okay. With the family, sorry if I'm not answering. Yeah, happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to all of you. Again, we're kind of celebrating. We popped the cork a little bit, having a little bit of bubbly. Of course, if you're old enough and you are so inclined, do so responsibly. And salute on a good year. I mean, let's think about it now. This team isn't where I want it to be, obviously, and for most Raider Nation, it's not, but I mean, they showed me a lot last week, especially in the second half. They're 8-7, going through a lot of stuff right now. Went through a lot of stuff this year. If they can win these next 2 and go to the playoffs, it speaks volumes for this team. To me, where their heart is, I've questioned it in the last weeks upcoming here. That whole run, with the exception of Thanksgiving, which a game that we were winning the whole time and we kind of let Dallas into it and we had to win in overtime. That shouldn't have really happened. We should have put them away. But I mean, those other games around it were just awful. The Cincinnati game, we got embarrassed in that game. The 2 Chiefs games were a joke. I mean, losing to the Chiefs isn't embarrassing. We don't want to lose, but the way we lost was pathetic. It was pathetic. You know, and I lost some subscribers because of it, because I got on Derek Carr's case for playing crappy. The Giants game, for example, he played like crap. We had every opportunity to win that game. We should have won it. The offense didn't come. They didn't show up. We didn't get enough points on the board. It is what it is. So, true. Also, remember, I was talking about Nassib's run defense. I think him and Klee will bring it against Taylor. Well, I mean, Unique and Max, I said that last week. That's the best I've probably seen Max play against the run in a game. Personally, the Denver game. I mean, he looked really good there. So I'm just looking like more of the same. I want more exactly how we played, kind of like the last 2 weeks without the turnovers. I want that. If we have that, we got a good chance of winning this game against the Colts. As far as I think we can get pressure. Their left side is pretty good. Center's pretty good, above average. The right side, not so much. And if Braden Smith doesn't play, then you're going to have a backup. I believe his name's Davenport. He's no good. We should be able to own that matchup with Max Crosby, to be honest. So we should be able to get pressure. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be more, like I said, I didn't put a total on my goals because I think this is going to be more like run blitzing. We're going to blitz the gaps and try to slow Taylor down more so. And leave the 2 corners and Merrick out to protect the passing game. Let's see. Yes, thumbs up. Thanks for reminding me, Sandy B. If you are enjoying this, whether you're here live or if you're on the replay here. I'll put this on a replay basically. Give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. That way you're notified of all these live streams if you're watching this, especially if you're watching the replay and you want to be involved with this. I do research. I look into things and I show where I think we can win the game, what we need to do to win. But it's also about you guys. I want to hear your interactions, what you think, not only game to game, but big picture wise. When we get into the off season, I'm going to do another video on the salary cap. I did one last year. A lot of people like that. I know a lot of you guys like that. I'll do another one on that. We'll look at who we're going to be hiring as head coach. Honestly, I think that's probably going to happen by January, the way things are looking. Unless we make a deep run to the playoffs, I think they're going to probably want to fill that role. They probably already have somebody that they want. I know that they want to interview. They're interviewing Todd Bowles. I don't know if that's legit or they're just trying to get around the Rooney Rule. I know Mark Davis caught some heat for that last time when he hired Gruden. That he basically didn't interview minority candidates, so he got under fire for that back in the day. If you remember that a few years back. So I'm not sure if honestly I wouldn't want Todd Bowles. He didn't do too well with the Jets as head coach, but nobody really does. If you look at him now with Tampa, I mean, he's been a good defensive coach. I'd like an offensive coach, and two, he's with Tampa now, and look at all the talent Tampa has on the defensive side. I mean, you know, show me somebody who has average talent who's exceeding expectations. That's who I'd want. So. But again, I would like to have an offensive-minded coach, head coach. Stick with it. I like your channel. You keep it real. Yeah, I appreciate that. I know I lost some subs. I did. I lost a few subs when I started criticizing Carr, but there were legitimate concerns. It is what it is. And like I said last week, his stats weren't there, but I thought he played a great game. I'm going to tell you how it is. Yannick hasn't done much since the New York game. I think he's had 2 sacks since then. But no, I mean, I think he has like 10 sacks total for the year. So Yannick is the kind of guy, it's a little weird. He's kind of hot and cold. He started off, he didn't do too much in the beginning of the season. Then I think he had like 4 sacks in like 3 games, I believe. And then he kind of cooled off, got a little bit. That's how he plays. But honestly, I'm not looking for sacks right here. We got to stop the run. If we slow Taylor down and we don't turn the ball over, we'll win this game. I'll say that right now. I think Yannick has had 6 pressures in the last 5 games. Yeah. And Crosby hasn't done much better. I mean, like I said, he got his first sack last week against Denver. He hadn't had one in, 9 games? Week 6 against Denver the first time. So they were really, that front 4 was really bringing it. And you can kind of see we're blitzing a little bit more. We're not crazy with it, but we're blitzing a little bit more now than we were, especially in the beginning of the year. We hardly were ever blitzing. So there's a reason for that. We're not getting to the quarterback lately. So, hey, JoJo's, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you coming in and supporting the channel. Thank you very much. And Happy New Year to you as well. It's 6:34 right now, by the way. So I'll probably end this within the hour or sooner, depending on how many comments. If you guys want to talk about anything else, I like to end my live streams within an hour. I think anything more than that is just kind of dragging things. I like to have a topic list here, like the rundown. Whoop, it's opposites here. So my rundown list. So not only you can see what I'm going to talk about, but then you can kind of get involved with it as well. You know, there's a format and a structure to the live stream itself. I'd rather have that than just kind of get on here and just, shoot the bull with you. Let's see. What do you think about that Darren Waller BS? Sick with it says that he's holding out for a bigger check. It's possible. Let's keep in mind here as Raider fans that we've had a lot of turmoil with this team. We normally do. It seems the last 20 years or so, but especially this year with Gruden, the whole email nonsense, and there's a lot of opinions with that. And I'll give my cent and a half on that. It's funny that the only thing that really came out was Gruden, and Daniel Snyder is still owning the team, especially in this day and age. And I only think back was about 10 years ago or so with Donald Sterling with the Clippers, and they forced him out for some things that he said. And I think Snyder's done way more than Donald Sterling's done, and he's still owning the Washington whatever. So it's nonsense. But like I said, I think, and I call it like it is. I know some people got mad at me, some Gruden lovers. I said it, and I stand firm with it. I don't think we would have ever won a Super Bowl with John Gruden here in this second stint. I think we could have back in the 2000s. If the Tuck rule didn't happen, we probably would have won it, or at least got to the Super Bowl. And then we went the next year, but we had to play against Gruden and his buddy through the game. And if you don't believe me, ask Tim Brown, ask Jerry Rice. They say basically the same thing. Tim Brown says it right out, puts the flaming turd right on the plate. Jerry Rice is a little more diplomatic about it because Callahan changed the game plan right before the game started. So if you don't know, you can look into that. But as Raider fans, you probably know that. So, but as far as Darren Waller goes, it's possible. I'm more interested in see who we get as head coach. And then I want to see what direction he's going to take this team. What's going to be his identity? Waller is an elite player. We should not let him go at all. In fact, I think, given what happened with Ruggs, I think we should go after Devontae Adams and give him what he wants. Get him. I'm guessing Packers are going to franchise him, trade for him, give him what he wants. Give us a legitimate number one guy, and then put Waller on the other side, and it's going to be insane. What are defenses going to do at that point? I don't know. Malik says Yannick and Crosby are supposed to be monsters for us so far since the halfway point. Only Crosby's been consistently a problem. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with Max Crosby. I don't know if he's hurt and they're not saying it, but he came out kind of like gangbusters early, and then he's just cooled off. Not a whole lot. And I'm not just saying stats, not just saying sacks. If you look at the game sheet, there's times where he's not even on the game sheet, not even getting a tackle, not even getting a pressure. It's like, what's going on here? PFF still has him ranked number 2 edge rusher. So I don't know. Myles Garrett's number 1, by the way. Let's see. Happy New Year. Let's see. I wouldn't take much into that. Malik says he does have a pretty notorious agent company, but I wouldn't allow that to dictate our opinion on Waller. And who knows if that little IT ban thing is legit. Maybe he did strain a ligament and they're just not saying it. I don't know. Or a partial tear. Who knows? Who knows what's really going on with him? All I know is he's not playing. Likely not playing this time because of the protocol. I'd love to have him out there. If anything, as a relief valve. We got to move the chains and control time of possession with this team. Keep our defense fresh so they can stop Jonathan Taylor and do well on third down conversions on both sides of the ball. Let's see. Malik says I have to go, but Happy New Year's, everyone. Great chat. Great chat with you. Happy New Year. I'll see you Sunday at about 11:30 Pacific time. 2:30 Central, 1:30 or 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central. Appreciate you coming out. Thank you for coming out. Boris Balkan, let's see. Welcome here. Welcome to the chat. You put, as I recall, Tampa knew every play the Raiders were running in the Super Bowl and called it to each other. Yeah, even if you look at the there was a documentary on the game because of the whole Gruden got fired, the Tuck rule. And then the Raiders ended up playing him, and there was things, and the defensive guys. I don't know if it was Sapp one of the other guys, or Lynch. But during the practices, Gruden would be Gannon in the practices as quarterback. And they said during the game, it was the exact same plays, the same lineups, the same calls. We knew exactly where they were going, what was going to happen. It's like, well, yeah, no shit, you beat us. So, and like I said, Tim Brown came out flat out and said he rigged the game for Callahan, and Jerry Rice kind of danced around it a little bit, but you can tell he believes that too. But he didn't come out and just blatantly say it. So, okay, stick with it. Good. Have a good New Year's. Hit that grill. I appreciate you coming out and supporting the channel as well. I think I'm going to kind of close this one out right here. Boris, I know you kind of came in, either you came in later or you weren't in the chat until later on. I did give my keys to the game, what I think the Raiders need to do or must do to win this game. I think that I'm very optimistic, to be honest with you, in summary, due to the fact that they played the run very well the last 2 weeks against teams that like to run, that had below average quarterbacks. I mean, even with Baker Mayfield in there with the Cleveland game, they like to run a ton anyway, and he wasn't in there. Nick Mullins was in there, a third-string quarterback. And then we had Drew Lock, who I thought would play a lot more erratically. He actually played better than I thought, so kudos to him. In as much as he didn't give us any turnovers, he had one ball that maybe we could have gotten, but I thought we'd have at least 2 opportunities. We got one, kind of an iffy one. So that's basically it. Appreciate you guys coming out here. Have a happy New Year. Have a safe New Year, and I'll see you on Sunday at halftime. And as always, go Raiders.
Something with all the distractions you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.